What's up, guys? New location alert. Due to Alexa's brain damage, we are changing location for one episode. And we won't be like this forever, but we're just having fun for this one episode. Hello, Alexa. How are you? You orange soda slurping person?
I'm good. Hi. I dyed my hair and I cut it. Let me know if you like it or not. I don't care if you like it or not, but let me know.
So today we are going to create a soundtrack to our lives. We're both going to have like 10 songs plus. She has like 18 songs, but I have like 11 songs-ish, and just a bunch of songs that could describe our life or lives, I guess. And yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Before we begin, please like and subscribe. That would help us out a bunch. And if you can click that bell notification, it will let you know whenever a new Dumb Toes video is out. So yeah, do that if you want. So, soundtrack to our lives. Pretty much what we're going to do is pick out a bunch of songs that I guess represent our lives, or I'm kind of looking at it like a movie, I guess. So like a movie soundtrack, picking my favorite songs and like going through my life type beat. And we are just giving you a lot of great details why the songs are on our soundtracks, and maybe some of these soundtracks or songs have a significant impact or something like that in our lives. We have different opinions and different lives, obviously, so a lot of different stuff going on. So how we're going to do this in a rapid succession, or not rapid, but in a continuational standpoint, I'm going to go song one goes Alexah, song two, song 3, song 3. And that's pretty much how it's going to go down, so you guys can follow along. And I'm also going to be putting up like a track list so you guys can keep up with what's going on, so not everybody's lost. All right, song number 1 on my soundtrack to my life, or of my life, is Dive by Nirvana. And the reason why I chose this song by Nirvana is probably because it's one of my favorite songs by them, and I never get bored of it. Some other songs I really get bored of it, and it was my introduction to rock and roll, I guess. Nirvana was. And if I had to pick a song from Nirvana to be on my soundtrack, I would just pick Dive, because it's very fun. Not really many details after that, but I think it's very important in my life how Nirvana just, I don't know, I guess started everything for me, and I had to pick a song. So yeah, Dive.
So song 1 on my soundtrack would be Crimson and Clover by Tommy James and the Shondells. Basically because this is the first song I can remember like listening to in my childhood. My dad always played it. And it's like the only song I can remember from my childhood. Well, my young years, And that's pretty much the only reason I have that in my top one. I mean, my number one. It's a really good song, too.
Song number 2 on my soundtrack would be Rhinoceros by Smashing Pumpkins. And this song really has a significant part of substance in my life. It reminds me a lot of Alexah, but it also just reminds me a lot of my earlier days of listening to, I guess, grunge, even though this is not grunge, even though they were in that era and lumped into that. It does remind me of those early stages of music where I really connected to a song, and having this song, Rhinoceros, off Smashing Pumpkins' Gish album on my soundtrack is very essential. It must be on here, and I feel like it has a lot of different meanings, I guess. So part of the meaning is Alexah, part of it is my early music journey, and yeah, heck yeah. Very good song too, very great song.
I don't know if Ricky said this in the beginning, but some of these songs, they're not like my favorite songs of all time. They're just like, they resonate a lot with me during these specific times in my life. So like I would put them on a soundtrack of my life, if that makes sense. I don't know if he said that, but I just wanted to like get that out of the way. Anyways, my number 2 on the soundtrack would be Bad Fish by Sublime. My dad was a big fan of Sublime, so this song just reminds me of him a lot. We would go down to the river, and I would play in the rocks, and he would be like in the car. Well, he had the car doors open, playing music out loud on his radio. I don't know if he specifically played Bad Fish, but I know he probably had some Sublime on that, so those are just memories ingrained in my head, and that song reminds me of all that.
At number 3, song number 3 on my wonderful soundtrack to my life, I'm going to have In Circles by Sunny Day Real Estate. And I feel like this song can really be played during, I guess, my earlier years of life, because it just gives me that early 2000s vibes, almost like Malcolm in the Middle for some reason. That's literally what I think of every time I listen to Sunny Day Real Estate. And I don't really know why I think that, but I just think of early 2000s, and early 2000s I was born in. So if a movie or soundtrack needed a song, I guess I'm picking In Circles by Sunny Day Real Estate. Plus, wonderful song, generational song, legendary song. A lot of people love it to this day, and it would be a banger. I would make the best soundtrack ever to a movie. So my movie, I'm putting this in for sure.
The next song up on my soundtrack would be Bleed It Out by Linkin Park. Also, the entire Hybrid Theory album. I'm just going to throw that in there. Mainly because of my stepdad. I have a very specific memory of driving to school screaming to this song to Bleed It Out. He would pull up to my school blasting it, and I'd get out. He had a Jeep with the top off. I felt so cool. Oh my god, I felt so cool. But yeah, that's my third song on my soundtrack.
That's hilarious. You felt cool? Bro was her, for real.
So he would either drop me off in his topless Jeep or a yellow Volkswagen Bug. And he's 6'4", and he would pull up to my school with his head touching the roof, blasting Linkin Park or Korn or some other garbage. By garbage, I mean stuff, not whatever.
Song 4 on my soundtrack, I'm picking In the Meantime by Helmet. Honestly, one of the greatest songs of all time. And I guess if I was making a movie about myself and someone had to play me, I don't know who I'd pick. But the soundtrack during those adolescent teenage years and just breaking stuff, which I don't think I ever did. But I had that mentality. I would have this song in the background for sure. In the meantime, just right when it gets, like literally right when it starts, it just goes into destruction mode. And that's pretty much, I guess teenage years for everybody ever. And yeah, that would be iconic on this soundtrack. I am killing it so far. I am the best. So yeah.
Okay, so my number 4 is All I Want to Do by Sugarland, which is like a country song. It's a banger. It's one of the OGs, whatever. My mom used to listen to country music. Well, she still listens to country music. That's literally all she listens to. And that's one of the big songs I remember. It's a very happy sounding song. Sugarland, I just like Sugarland. I like their album covers.
Song number 5, I have 40 Days by Slowdive off their Souvlaki album. And I'm not saying this is how I feel. Okay, Alexah? I'm not saying this is how I feel. But if I made a movie and there's just like, those early love scenes where I'm just like having girlfriends and stuff, I definitely want this song playing, man. It feels like a love song, first of all. It feels like those early years where you're like, oh my God, I have to write your name in my notebook and just like write a story about how we're in love. Stuff like that, and corny stuff, but it's just teenage stuff. And I feel like that would be a perfect song that I would utilize in this instance. So nobody in the comments think that I'm thinking of my exes, because I'm not.
I would put that in like a breakup scene. Because when we broke up, because we've broken up like 3 times, our lore, we've broken up like 3 times, and the first time we had like our first major breakup, I listened to that song over and over and over again, and I bawled my eyes out to it, because it says 40 days and I miss you. I know the song. And oh my God, that's how I felt about Ricky. You're not gonna be rude to me, biatch.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Early Love, 40 Days, Slowdive. I think that's a good song for that moment.
I think number 5 for me would be Slow by Twin Shadow, just because I just remember this song. Like, I would listen to this song going into high school a lot, and I'm in like the middle stage of my soundtrack. Like, number 5 is starting the middle stage for me. So Slow by Twin Shadow. Me and my sister would always listen to this like in walk around, because when I was like 14 I couldn't drive, so we'd walk around within our headphones. Also, I'm gonna throw it out there, the entire 21 Pilots discography.
Song 6, I'm kind of going back to back with love situations, I guess, and this is more of like a missing you type of song. That's how I interpret the song. And this is Shadow of a Doubt by Sonic Youth off their Evil album 1986. Yeah, this song is very, I guess, not creepy, but when you listen to it and you have your headphones in and your high definition headphones, it really just feels like this eerie love. And it's like almost like you're almost walking through a what's it called, the Tombstone area, cemetery. Yeah, that place. That's what it feels like, sounds like to me. And I guess, yeah, I don't know, just that love. And I don't think of it more in like the younger love years. I think of it like how I am now with Alexah. That's how I think about it, in a mysterious love kind of way. And that's how I love Alexah. So, heck yeah, I gotta add that to my soundtrack.
Hopefully the way we're like setting this up isn't too confusing, because he's doing like him already loving me and I'm like in high school in my soundtrack right now. So hopefully that's not too confusing. Like he said, he's gonna put like, I need to stop doing garbage with my hands. He's gonna put like lists on the screen so it doesn't get too confusing. My number 6 on my soundtrack is gonna be Go by M83 featuring My Lawn, I think is how you say it. I'm just adding this in there because I listened to it in like a really dark time, and I listened to it to cope, whatever, and I listened to it like 24/7. Yeah, you ever have like, hello? You ever have those songs where you like only listen to that song, and it's like you don't want to listen to anything else but that song? That was this song for me. And now it's funny, like I don't listen to it ever, because once I listen to it now, it like brings me back to those like dark days, and it's just weird. But I would add it onto my soundtrack because it played a major role. In my teen years.
Song 7 on my soundtrack. I had to have a Mazzy Star song on here because, and you know, I tell Alexah all the time that tattoo's based off of her and our early stages of lovebirding. And yeah, I gotta have a Mazzy Star song on here, so I'm picking Roseblood. I could have gone with like Blue Flower or Hala or Fade Into You, but I wanted to put this song because it's dark, and I feel like this album is dark, but I still love it. It's still pretty in a way, and that's how I look at Alexah. She's a dark soul with a beautiful soul. So I guess you could play this song during a love period in a movie or something like that, but it's like a dark love period, almost like Cemetery-esque, I guess, but again, which I keep going back to, but I'm a love type of guy. What can I say? Can I ask you out? Oh yeah, I remember that, blue hair. Which is kind of funny that I keep talking about that, because the last time I asked Alexah out was in a cemetery, and that was the third time I asked her out, because you know, sometimes you got to go through some trials and tribulations, and this time we've stuck around together and just been together since that day in the cemetery where I asked her out. She had blue hair. I'll put a picture up so you guys don't think I'm tripping. I think we had some Denny's or something like that afterwards, or IHOP, something like that.
Number 7 on my list is gonna be Do You Need My Love by Wise Blood. I believe that's how you say the name. There's really no like specific special reason. I just really liked this song at the time, and I listened to it once again 24/7. It was one of those songs where it's like I listened to that song all day. It would work really well in a movie. It's very cinematic, so I guess if I was going to make a movie, I would throw that song in there somewhere.
So I'm getting towards the end of my soundtrack, and Alexah has a few more songs after me, so I'm just letting you guys know so it doesn't seem a little bit too weird that she keeps talking and I have nothing else. So I only have 10 songs on my list. I think I mentioned that. And I'm on number 8 right now, and this is Never Grow Old by the Cranberries. So yeah, Never Grow Old by the Cranberries, and since this is towards the end of the soundtrack, I kind of want to wrap it up and make it a little bit sad, because sometimes you got to say goodbye and stuff, and Never Grow Old is just basically what the title says, Never Grow Old, and I guess you could think about that in a lot of different ways. You can think about it in a relationship or your family. You don't want anyone to die or anything like that, so that's kind of how I view the song, and it's a beautiful song, an underrated album by the Cranberries, and yeah.
So my number 8, to wrap up the middle part of my soundtrack, is actually like 2 songs, but it's a part 1 and part 2. So it's Edge of the World Part 1 and Edge of the World Part 2 by Pond. It's a psychedelic rock band, and these songs are really long, so they were just really cool to listen to because there's so many different sounds in them and stuff, you know, and I would throw them into a movie of my life because they would just be cool in a movie. I don't know. Once again, a lot of these songs I'm just putting in here because I literally went through phases of listening to just one song for like months straight, and Edge of the World Part 1 and Edge of the World Part 2 is another one of those songs. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up the middle part of my soundtrack. So my number 8. I got 8 more. Buckle up.
Number 9. I just talked about how I want to have a wrap up to this soundtrack, and can't wrap it up any better than having a song called Goodbye by the Sundays. And that's what I have at number 9. I freaking love this song. I freaking love the Sundays. This is the first song that really caught my attention with the Sundays, I guess. And I gotta have it on here, and it's really convenient that it's called Goodbye. Very good song. And to end the soundtrack, I gotta have it on here. My bad. Got a little burst of energy right there like a cat. But number 9, heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. The Sundays, Goodbye.
Anyway, so my number 9 is going to be SpiderMan 79 by Veruca Salt.
What?
Because that's, at this point in my soundtrack, is when I would have met Ricky, and he introduced me to that song. Cringe. Ick. Disgust. We've talked about Veruca Salt 14 million times on these episodes, videos of his channel, so go give SpiderMan 79 a listen. It reminds me a lot of Ricky. It's very calm, mellow. So it'd be like an opening scene of us like meeting each other or some garbage. I don't know. Even though it's probably not about that. Don't take the literal meaning of the song. That's just, you know what I mean. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ricky loves Spider-Man. So, LOL.
I know I probably confused you with the last one because it's called Goodbye by the Sundays, and that was number 9, but that's not the last song on my list. The last song on my list, this is the song number 10, and it's by Hum. I gotta have Hum on here. I got Songs of Farewell and Departure. And that's just another sweet way of saying goodbye, I guess. And I love this song as an outro on that album, You Prefer an Astronaut. Not a lot to say about it, but this can go for any movie that's about to end that I guess is a coming of age movie, because I guess that's what I'm talking about in this soundtrack to my life, or at least this is the perspective I'm viewing this whole idea of a video. It's very confusing, but this is a soundtrack to my life in like a movie sense for some reason. But yeah, Songs of Farewell and Departure by Hum. I had to have Hum on here. I know you guys were probably like going crazy, like, why does this dude not have Hum yet? He loves Hum. He hasn't said a Hum song. So saving it for the last song. Best for last. So that concludes my soundtrack to my life, and now you're just going to be hearing from Alexah. And at the end, I guess we'll just wrap it up by saying what we think of our soundtracks and giving, I guess, thoughts and stuff like that, and being nice to each other, and then kissing each other at the end. JK, we can't do that.
Okay, stop. My number 10 is Luna by Smashing Pumpkins. You know, it's a good old love song, and Ricky introduced me to Smashing Pumpkins. This song would go well being played in the background of us frolicking around in a movie or something. But yeah, I'm so nervous. Moving on to number 11, I'm going to go fast because I don't like to be the only one talking, is Rad OD by Carpenters. Ricky introduced me to the album that Rad OD is on. What is it called? Moving on to number 11, I have Rad OD by the Carpenters. Ricky introduced me to the album that this song is on, which is called A Song for You. This whole album, but specifically the song, plays in my mind whenever I think about whenever me and Ricky the first 2 times we broke up. So obviously gotta add that into the soundtrack. I don't know if I said number 12 for the last one, or if I said 11, but it was supposed to be number 12. So this is number 13. Okay. Number 13 is Elegy to the Void by Beach House. I love Beach House. Specifically this song. This is like my favorite song to listen to when we drive to the coast. That's why it's in my soundtrack for my life, because we go to the coast a lot together. And this song is like really good to just listen to and like look at all the trees. Number 14, same vibe with this song, is Siberian Breaks by MGMT. Very long song. I'm getting nervous. Okay, I'm trying to wrap it up fast. Honestly, guys, I think I've messed up the whole entire numbering for my list, but Ricky's gonna put a list, so whatever. Sorry. Okay, so this is what I believe to be number 15. Another space song by Failure. In my soundtrack, this would signify me and Ricky finally getting our garbage together and staying in love and stop breaking up, you know? Stop being 3-year-olds. Okay. Number 16, I think, is If You Are to Bloom by Hum. I obviously had to add a Hum song in there. Relax. So If You Are to Bloom is one of my favorite Hum songs. So that's why I'm throwing it in there. Why I like the Robins could be replaced if for some reason the producers of my soundtrack didn't want to put it on the soundtrack. And I'm
What?
gonna.
What are you talking about?
That's
Bro, got
funny.
producers now?
I got hecka producers. I'm the only producer, actually.
Bro. So you're the one that stopped from putting.
Yes, I stopped myself from putting the song. So the last song of my soundtrack to wrap up this portion of my life, because, you know, my soundtrack goes from beginning, middle to recent, not end, because I'm still alive. So that song is going to be Blind by Swans. It's like a really nostalgic sounding song, and I also feel like it's like the perfect song for like someone riding off into the sunset. Not that's what I would do, but like, you know what I'm saying. It's a very good ending song, and I love Swans, so I'm going to add a song by Swans, and this one is just, once again, cinematic. I can't think of other words. If you were to look into the lyrics of this song, they kind of like talk about, well, the way I interpret it at least is how a dude is like growing to become more mature and stuff. So like that makes sense. Like if I were to end my soundtrack with that song, it's like I'm still growing, you know? I have room for growth, blah blah blah. That's my last song for the soundtrack. Sorry if those were really, really jumbled and fast. I got nervous.
Okay, looking at Alexa's soundtrack, it looks pretty good. I really like that Sublime pick and just all these dad-related, stepdad-related stuff. A lot of family stuff going on. You got your country in there. You got a lot of beautiful stuff. You got some 21 Pilots phases in there. I guess not phases because you still like 21 Pilots. But yeah, then you got all the songs that remind you of me. What a sweet thing. What a sweet human. What a life you've lived. You're so beautiful and amazing.
Looking at Ricky's soundtrack, I've noticed we took a different approach, obviously. He's got a lot of songs on here that he still listens to currently, and that's cool. And a lot of them, I think all his picks are solid songs. They're pretty fire-licious. In the Meantime by Helmet especially. I introduced him to Helmet, by the way, if you didn't know that. I did. I did.
Clarification, Alexa's hungry, and there's tacos dorados, and they're waiting for her downstairs. I hope you guys enjoyed that video and location for one video, or if you like this location and you like the sun, or it's really cloudy outside, but if you like the clouds in our face for the brightness, let us know. We'll keep it, maybe. I don't know. We're on lawn chairs right now, so yep. I don't even know if you could see like the background or anything. I have a couch over there, got my bed. It's pretty dirty and messy. Not dirty, but it's pretty scattered everywhere. So, to wrap up the video, I hope you guys enjoyed this soundtrack to our lives, and we totally went about this different ways, and it was kind of confusing, but we hope you guys kept up, and hope you guys liked the songs that we picked. What would you put on your soundtrack to your life? Let us know. Like and subscribe.
Keep the music alive.
This was the soundtrack to our lives.